We can begin. I want to present to you our first speakers, Anastasiia Galimova and Ena Muratspahić. Anastasiia is an accessibility advocate and expert with years of experience in making technology accessible, and Ena is an experienced software engineer with a strong background in building scalable mobile applications across multiple industries. They're going to present their topic, making 1 million appliances accessible. Let's welcome them.
So hello everyone, I hope you can hear me fine. All right, so hello everyone, thank you for coming. Today Ena and I, we will share how to make connected home appliances accessible to everyone, including people with disabilities. We will take you behind the scenes of the Electrolux mobile application. We will show you a real example from the Stockholm laboratory, and also we will explain you that accessibility matters because we believe that accessibility is not just a checkbox. It is a gateway to independence for millions of users around the world. So hello, my name is Anastasiia Galimova, and I'm a software tester at Electrolux. I have previous experience in banking sphere and nuclear industry, and at Electrolux I test mobile applications on Android and on iOS using connected home appliances. Like, for example, a washing machine, a washer dryer, tumble dryer. And also, I'm deeply involved in accessibility, and I check that our application is really inclusive and accessible to our users.
Yeah, hi. I think Karina said it well for me, but yeah, I just want to mention that I am also part of the accessibility trio in our company, where I try to make sure that accessibility is not an afterthought and that we take care of and make our appliances accessible. Anastasia.
Yes, so, and I have a question for you, for my audience. Please raise your hand if somebody heard anything about Electrolux. Maybe some of you has appliances Electrolux at home. Please raise your hand. Amazing, very, very great. And for those who haven't heard anything, so believe me, you will learn a lot today. So over a century, Electrolux has been a global home appliances company. It has changed the way we live, from the first washing machine and vacuum cleaners to today's connected smart appliances. So I searched in internet, and you can see the Swedish laundry, and this is our old appliances, washing machine and tumble dryer. And another picture is one of our latest washing machine. I quite often use appliance for my testing. And Electrolux was founded in 1919, so a bit more than 100 years ago. And the company always combined innovations with people's everyday needs, making life at home better for millions of users around the world. And our appliances are divided into 3 categories. Taste, care, and well-being category. So in taste, we produce such appliances as cookers, hobs, ovens, microwave ovens. In care, the domain where I work, we produce washing machines, washer dryers, tumble dryers. And in well-being domain, we produce some air conditioning equipment and vacuum cleaners. And we have dozens of appliances types. Each of them has different interface, different ways of interactions, different buttons and sounds. And some of these appliances, they have a Wi-Fi module that allows them to be connected to the internet. So these are connected home appliances. We have several applications. Like here you see Electrolux, IAG, Frigidaire plus Home. You can successfully download them in App Store or Google Play. And our users, they can install these applications to their mobile devices, connect Electrolux appliances, and they can control, monitor their home appliances anytime, anywhere. So this is quite convenient for our users, and especially for people with disabilities. But convenience alone is not enough. We believe that every person, regardless their ability, should be able to use our technology. That's why we're making accessibility a core part of how we design and build our application. Because we believe that everyone deserves a comfortable home. And at this part of my presentation, I would like to tell you about recent accessibility law changes. So, in June 2025, the European Accessibility Act started to apply, and it sets clear requirements for digital products and services, including mobile applications. And this act applies to all companies selling products and services in European Union, including such company like Electrolux. And this act covers everything, from how the application should look and works, to supporting assistive technologies as voice control and screen reader, and to supporting adaptive settings like larger text and high contrast. And according to this act, all applications must be accessible to all our users, including people with disabilities. And of course, companies that don't comply, they risk legal and reputational consequences. And at Electrolux, our applications, they were already accessible, but we knew we could do even better. In my opinion, our developers and we as testers, we did an enormous amount of work to make our application not just compliant, but truly inclusive. And right now, I would like to tell you a bit more about the product that we're building. Yeah, so this is me sitting in the Stockholm laboratory in front of the appliances. This is my beloved appliances, washing machine and washer dryer. I quite often use these appliances for my testing. I really spent quite a lot of time in the Stockholm laboratory, and I check how our mobile applications interacts with home appliances. This screenshot, this is the view, the home screen of our application, and you see here washing machine and washer dryer onboarded to this user account. Our application provides different variants, different variants of settings. So here in this slide, I attached different screenshots. This is the first screenshot, is the appliance extended screen. And you can see here different settings and appliance extended screen for the washing machine. Next screenshot is the program list. So the list of programs available for this washing machine. Next screenshot is the list of temperature available for this washing machine, and we see on the screenshot that the cotton program is selected and the temperature is 90 degrees is selected. And next screenshot is spin speed, list of spin speed available for this program, for this washing machine, and our users, they can set any of these settings and run a cycle. Also, our application provides different range of intelligent features, like program assistant, delay start, guides. And my favorite intelligent feature is program assistant. So I think that this feature is really quite comfortable for our users, because if they want to do laundry, if they want to wash their clothes or to dry their clothes, they don't need to think about which program should I select, which temperature should I select, which spin speed. Maybe I should, add some additional option like pre-wash or anti-crease. No, they don't think about anything. They can use this assistant. So the idea of this assistant is that our users need to answer a few simple questions, like, for example, what are you washing or drying? how dirty your clothes are and which colors your clothes has. And the program assistant will recommend the best washing and drying cycle for your laundry. And our users need just to click the button start and to start the cycle. Yes, so, and important thing that all these settings, all these intelligent features, they can be used completely remotely by using our mobile applications. And our users, they even don't need to touch an appliance, because sometimes touching the appliance is not so comfortable sometimes. Why? Because buttons can be so small, not so illuminated, or replaced by a knob, for example. And it is really quite comfortable to install application, to connect appliances, and to use appliances with our mobile application. And this makes our application not just a tool, but a path to independence, confidence, and freedom in everyday life. Well, so on this slide, I want to show you a demo. I want to show you how focus order works and screen reader works in our application. So, important information, I recorded this video without any sound to avoid some technical issues during the presentation. But no worries, I will read everything that is needed, and also you will see the subtitles on the bottom of this video. Okay, so before this before the recording of this video, so I took my mobile device, I enabled screen reader, and yes, and I swiped through the screen. And I moved from one element to another on this screen. And let's check how focus order works. So focus is this blue rectangle, and we see here that it moves logically, without any skipping, without any freezing, everything in a logical way. Great. Next, let's check the screen reader. Screen reader, if the focus is on each element, the screen reader announces what is this element about. And you see here, like for example, next element is max load 2 kilograms button, double tap to activate. Next element, I swipe care meter lowest button, double tap to activate. Then I swipe again, smart leaf lowest button, double tap to activate. Again, this feature is quite comfortable for people with disabilities. Again, they take our mobile application, enable screen reader, they listen what they move the cursor, the focus, and they listen what screen reader announces them. They understand where is the focus, and they can navigate any screen. They can select any options and any buttons and start a cycle, use the appliance. So, another part of my presentation is how we in Electrolux test accessibility. Okay, so I want to say that I quite often test accessibility at Electrolux. Yes, so usually I take 2 mobile devices, Android and iOS. I install the testing build on these mobile devices. I activate the screen reader, and I do my testing, my accessibility testing. And the first check is focus order. So, as you can see on the demo, okay, our focus order works great without any skipping, freezing, everything is logical. So, this is the list of programs available for the washing machine, and we see that the focus is on the synthetics program, and if I swipe through the screen, the focus will move to another element, to the delicates program for the washing machine. Next check, screen reader output. Again, I showed you it on the demo. So screen reader output, it is what is this element about? So like this, for example, the focus is on the sports program, and we see that the screen reader announce selected sports athletic clothes made of synthetics like polyester, elastine or polyamide button. Yes, it's true. Nothing is skipped. Our users can understand what is this element about, and they can navigate through this screen. Great, the check is passed. Next one, dark mode. Great, dark mode. Of course, I set dark mode, and I check that all elements on the screen, they are still visible. Okay, and here we see the list of spin speed available for the washing machine, and we see different spin speeds. Yes, everything is visible. The check is passed. Text resizing. Yes, I go to the settings of my mobile device and I change the text. I resize it to the maximum. And I go to the mobile application. This is the appliance extended screen, the main screen for the appliance, and washing machine Indigo F5. And we can, yes, we can see that every button, every number, every icon change their size. Yes, it's true. The check is passed as well.
Yeah. When Anastasiia tests, I know that she goes gradually, but also it's really important to have the highest setting work good. Yeah, to the max on each element. Not on each element, of course. With accessibility, sorry, I'm just with accessibility, I mean, it's important that each element is so the elements that don't have any purpose, like for example, there is an icon that doesn't describe anything. It's just kind of like there to look good. Or something that it's not by law and by regulation that Anastasiia mentioned. It's not required to be like bigger.
So you remove icons.
So those ones we don't make sure that they're big enough. But the ones that carry important information, for example, and also usually those small icons don't even have labels on it that will describe what they are. Because the context, there's no context, it's just like visually pleasing item there. And we have description next to it, usually like a text. So it's not.
So you skip the content description. And
yeah. But if it's some important image or icon that describes something, it's always important. Like I think she will come to that part.
The one on the right-hand side.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, I think we can continue. So. And the next testing, the next check is keyboard navigation. So I connect my keyboard to my mobile device and I check that I can use keyboard keys using from one element to another in our mobile application. Screen orientation. Yes, very good check, by the way. A lot of issues found when I changed the screen orientation. So during my check, I change the screen orientation from vertical to horizontal, and I see that all elements, they are still visible. They are still visible on the screen, and I still can interact with each element on the screen. And of course, other many different checks that I, as a tester, and my colleagues, do you remember, right? So taste, care, and well-being team, we have different teams, different testers. We all together do different accessibility checks during our work. And in this part of this presentation, I would like to show you some issues that I found during my testing. So, of course, I'm planning to list here not all the issues that I found during my testing. Believe me, if I do so, we will stay here till the evening. Yeah, but just a few issues that I found, just to give you an example of what findings I have. So, yes, it was a sunny day in Stockholm. I was sitting in my laboratory in front of my appliances. I was sitting in testing, and the first issue that I found was missing meaningful alt text. Missing meaningful alt text. So this is the screen. This is the screen where we describe our users how to fill dispenser with detergent for the washing machine. Quite comfortable screen, informative, and as you can see here is the image. And when the focus was on this image, the screen reader announces just the name of the image, just text 000. Okay, so I found an issue. I created a bug report. I went to my developers. Guys, we need to add alt text here. Please, we need to add a description. So for people with disabilities, they should know what is this picture about. And yes, they added the alt text. And now on this screen, if the focus is on this image, our users will listen the text. The detergent drawer has been pulled out. 4 compartments are visible in the drawer. The top left one is highlighted image. Yes, that's true. It's correct. Yes. And I closed the bug report. Next issue, non-clickable elements. Non-clickable elements. So we have a meatball menu in our application. And one of these elements in the meatball menu is frequently asked question. Frequently asked question. And when the cursor, when the focus is on this element, and I double tap to activate, nothing happened. Nothing happened. But if the screen reader is disabled, so I can go to this screen. So the second screen is quite important. And I created bug report. Our developers fixed it. And if the voiceover is active, is enabled, and our users double tap to this element, they are redirected to the quite important screen with list of questions and answers, of course, that our users might have during the interaction with the appliance and during their work with our mobile application. Great. I closed this bug report. So next issue that I would like to tell you about is unnecessary elements appeared. Unnecessary elements appeared. So it was quite interesting thing that I found that when the screen reader was not active, when the screen reader was disabled, not active. In the meatball menu, I didn't see any unnecessary elements. Please take a look at the part appliance shortcut and program list. But when I turn on the screen reader, the focus was placed on unnecessary element. This element was without any function, was without any label. So again, bug report, talk with developers, and they fixed it, and now we don't have any unnecessary elements on the screen.
Programming artifact.
This element was navigation in iOS. yeah, which wasn't visible normally, but with screen reader, it was like, what is this little circle? So yeah, quite an easy fix, but quite a, yeah.
Okay, so, and the last issue that I would like to tell you is guides. Guide step reading. Okay, so for convenience of our users, we have some guides in our application, like for example this guide, how to clean the drum, And as we can see here, the guide consists of 3 steps, step 1, step 2, and step 3. And when the screen reader was active, and the focus was on the first step, so the screen reader announced step 1 and the information about the step. Remove on laundry from the appliance. And silence. Nothing more. Okay, but there are another important steps in these guides. And my suggestion was that to my developers, guys, please add the information that this is the step 1 of 3 and the information about this step. Then if I swipe step 2 of 3 and the information about this step. And then if I swipe again, step 3 of 3 and the information about this step. I think it is quite comfortable for our users. They understand how many steps are in this guide, and they can read it quite successfully. Great. So, and all right, I think that after my talk, you might have quite interesting question to me. So you listened how I check accessibility, how many checks I do, which issues I found, and I think that you might have this question to me. So, Anastasiia, how do you feel? How do you feel after your testing? Yes, and honestly, this is me. I hike in Austrian Alps, trying to hike to Kreml waterfalls, yes, which are near Salzburg, if I remember correctly. Yeah, a bit exhausted, right? Yeah, a bit exhausted, but honestly, yes, true. Sometimes I feel I have the same feelings after my working day, after my work in the lab, after my testing, after my finding, my issues. Yes, a bit tired, a bit exhausted, but really, really happy with the result. Because making technology accessible means making life easier for many people around the world. Yeah, so, and that's all with my part of the presentation. I'm very glad to pass the stage to my dear colleague, Ena.
Thank you, Anastasiia. Thank you. Great presentation. Maybe I should leave this picture here. Yeah. So thank you. Hi again. You've all seen how accessibility is tested and validated manually, and it's a lot of hard work, I must say. Now let's step into the developer's world. So as developers, accessibility lives in our code. So that's the first step of making our app accessible, maybe second. First one is just to try it out and see where the problems are. But this accessibility is not just about compliance. It's about making our software usable for everyone. I mean, that's the goal. And even small changes make a big, big impact. So, for example, this button looks fine visually, but it could be invisible to a screen reader if we don't implement it right. And here's the thing. So if we implement it right once, we do not just make it better for one button, for one screen. We scale it across millions of devices, millions of apps, millions of users. And this is the mindset that changes everything. So, because accessibility improves the experience for everyone. Just wanted to mention this, how it helps everyone as well. So, one of our colleagues broke his phone and he was really happy. I mean, how many of us have that happened? Like all of these touchscreens. And then you're like, okay, I cannot use my phone. But then since he knew how to use assistive technologies, he was super happy to let us know, oh, I used the phone throughout the whole day. Now I knew how to answer calls, even write messages. So he was super happy to report that until he brought it to the repair shop, of course. He didn't continue using it like that. It was too hard when he's not used to it. So this is the real impact of accessible design. It can help even when you least expect it. So throughout my accessibility journey, I had the opportunity to work with a lot of people and to see how they use technology every day in their everyday life with any kind of impairment. For example, we have this colleague. She has impaired eyesight. She could technically use screen reader. That's what she said. But she was so sick of hearing in college double tap to activate from people around her. And then she decided and she tried really hard to use only zooming functions. So even in everyday life, she will go around with the camera and just zoom on appliances if she's not having a connected appliances and doing her everyday work like that. And then we had some users who use keyboards during their, like computer programmers who use their keyboards to work on a computer, which is easier for them. Then they also, some users who has issues with tremors and then clicking something or double clicking something that we didn't implement it to be double clicked, but they do. So yeah, a lot of different usages of technology and making sure that it's good for everyone, understandable for everyone, it's a challenge. Yeah, so you already know how important all the accessibility technologies are from Anastasiia, from voiceover, keyboard, Zoom, making fonts bigger, and so on. But here, I'm just gonna giving a quick overview why it's important we implement it right. So, as we know, native components already provide accessibility features, and it's on us as developers to make it work, because they will not work as default, they will not work as is. So once we customize them, we must re-implement them with accessibility in mind if we don't use it, if we override it. So yeah. Here, I'm just gonna show you. So for example, icon button. On the left side, you can see an icon button. You see it's an icon button. You see it's probably a help button. But if we don't implement it right, we're just gonna see, like, if you're using a screen reader, it's not gonna see anything. It's not gonna be clear what you're clicking on. You're gonna know it's a button probably, but you're not gonna know what it is. Also, size matters. If it's small, users cannot click on it. And headings, you could hear from Anastasiia some of the examples, but headings are important because imagine the screen. On the left, this is our FAQ screen where we have these sections, general and troubleshooting, and these are headings. Imagine reading a document with a ton of text without title, subtitle, without table of contents, and it's really hard for you to find anything. While using screen reader in this case, you can quickly jump from FAQ to troubleshooting and some other things that are on the screen there. Then here, order. I mean, nobody in their right mind, even today, won't create a form that looks like this on the right. But order is important because while using screen reader, users can miss important information if focus jumps around. It's applicable also on the text or anything like that is on the screen. We had some issues similar to this, I must say, not on the form, but in some other places, where imagine you're reading something and then you hear something completely not connected to what you heard before. So it gets really confusing for users. And dark light mode, of course, it's not just a trend. It's helping users with dyslexia, with light sensitivity, and even in bright sunlight. Here we have dark and light mode. You see that the dark mode is a bit, not visible with this darker background, but when we put the light background, it's really visible, and these three other screens just fade into background. So this is how important good contrast is. Even with this said, accessibility is not just about how something looks. It's about if everyone can use it, if everyone can understand what's on the screen, if everyone can interact with it. So that is what's really important. So I would say our work as developers and focus has changed and evolved. It used to be only about making fonts bigger, making layouts responsive, having color contrast, using correct colors. But now we have to think about label, focus order, gesture, semantics, and much, much more. In some words, I would say that we moved from designing what users see to what they experience. And also, it's not only important to make our screens same as designed. We need to make sure it's usable for everyone. As you know, as you heard, at Electrolux, we have a lot of apps with a lot of appliance models. So fixing accessibility on one screen, it's not scalable. So we needed some systematic way to make this happen as fast as possible, to make it as good as possible, and to prepare to make accessibility part of how we build every day, and not something we fix after we find a problem. So our goal was to make it so that if we fix it once, we fix it everywhere, of course. So it was not all smooth sailing. We had some challenges along the way, like on technical perspective, from legacy code that wasn't built with accessibility in mind. Yes, our app was accessible to some extent, but not fully, and we always want to make our software better, right? So, to app complexity, a lot of appliance models, like I said, a lot of screens, a lot of flows, and also when we talk about accessibility, we all know there are a ton of guidelines, but they're not rules. I mean, when we look at rules, we know, okay, if this, do that, and it's super easy to follow them. When it's guidelines, you have to kind of dive deep into that, and for a specific screen, something can be differently implemented than some other screen that you have. And then on the organizational side, not everybody knew about accessibility. Like, a lot of people never used it. I mean, me included. Like, I've never used it. I never thought about it before, or like what it really means. And also it was challenging to navigate between deadlines that we had, like regular deadlines, and making our app accessible, and also making sure our June deadline is respected. We have also a big team, so making sure everybody's following the same approach, everybody's understanding what we're doing, that was a challenge. And as I said, like for many of us, assistive tech was something new. We never even turned on like screen reader, but instead of doing this alone, sitting in a dark room, thinking, how am I doing this? Am I the only one who doesn't know? We decided to learn together. So how? Through collaboration, of course, workshops, and most importantly, hands-on experience. I have to mention Magenta ILI here from T-Mobile. This is a great example how public tools can translate these guidelines into some kind of rules. Because, for example, they have a lot of examples for mobile and web. There you can see even acceptance criteria that you can use. You have small, short little videos, how it should look, with some practical examples and some code, how you can implement it. So once we started learning, the next step was bringing accessibility into our real code, real new reviews, and real releases. So now we had to do it. Now we had to figure out how to do it. So first, design system. We built a shared design system with accessible UI components, which we could share across apps. And the designer also created their whole implemented system of accessibility in terms of focus order, grouping, and all of the accessibility features we needed to implement. Not screen by screen, but also just a general system, how it should be. And then, of course, reusable components. I mean, what are you going to do if you need to kind of scale it? So once this component passed the accessibility testing, it was easy to use it everywhere. And with the documentation complementing that, everybody could use it easily, know how it's supposed to act, and every developer could apply it, and it didn't have to be like an accessibility expert to understand, or could even learn through this documentation what is happening and how to implement it. And then, of course, knowledge sharing. Yeah. So even if we had maybe one team or two teams or three teams doing the reusable components, it was really important for us so that everybody knows why and how we are doing this, and how to apply the best practices without being an accessibility expert. So we created some chats. We have some chats with accessibility experts where we could ask any question we wanted. Because like I said, it was always important to us that our app is accessible in terms of being understandable. And here I'm going to just come back to the question we had, like this image and text images that we kind of don't scale up or even don't put alt text on it. For example, cotton, cotton. If we have an icon of the cotton and then we have text cotton next to it, it's too much to have screen readers say cotton, cotton. So in those cases, we would. And all of these questions are, of course, what people probably had. Then also on every screen was a bit different. Having reusable components really helped to make this work. But then, again, we had to go screen by screen. And then we have something called Accessibility Champions, where people who have passion for accessibility can share their ideas, they can come and learn, and of course, developers, testers, designers, product managers, everybody, and we can share resources, watch some videos, some news about accessibility. So this is a really good way that we made this happen. And this way, accessibility was not just one person's job or one, for example, developer's job or QA's job. It became a scalable system. But also, we didn't want this to be just like a one-off sprint. Okay, we did it, we're compliant, we're done. That's it. Real challenge was making accessibility stick, part of how we build every day and how we use it every day. So our idea how to make it last, this is what we came up to. Like I mentioned a million times, reusable components, of course, so it scales automatically. So consistent design patterns. of course. In our case, designers as well created consistent design patterns. And now when they design anything, they will always make sure that the accessibility is part of that design. Then accessibility part, we added accessibility checks to every review. And accessibility became part of our definition of done. That is super cool. And also we have this core team that makes sure that accessibility is not an afterthought, but a continuous process, and that it's integrated in everything we do. And over time, all of these small, consistent efforts started to add up, not just in metrics, but in real releases and real life. So what we learned, accessibility is definitely a shared responsibility. It's not a job just of QAs or one QA or one developer or more developers. Test early and often, and don't leave accessibility to the end. Like, that's a mistake. Build reusable accessible components, reusable patterns, everything that you can reuse that has accessibility in it. And one of the best things that I experienced throughout our journey of making our app even more accessible is that collaboration pays off. Like, designers, testers, developers, product managers, it was really great to see us all come together and make sure our app is accessible, to learn together, to bounce ideas off each other. It was a really empowering experience. So what we gained? We improved our accessibility scores, we got some positive feedback from users, and accessibility became part of our team culture. This is how we can make apps that people can actually use, and not just by adding accessibility, but scaling it into everything we build. We're not done yet. I mean, we're not. This needs to continue. We need to make sure. We have this strong foundation, of course, but our job is to protect what we build, improve it, make accessibility part of our everyday craft. So we still have some reviews where we listen to users, improve our experiences, validate with users, because even now, some of the flows can be less understandable for the users, because even when you make your app compliant by the law, it doesn't guarantee you that your app is going to be completely understandable for people using, for example, screen reader. And then we are proud of what we build, but we need to keep it alive. So if you've never tried using VoiceOver or TalkBack, that's where you should start. Not sure if you did. Anybody already using screen reader, VoiceOver? Yes? Okay, great. So you don't need like this huge accessibility project to begin. Just build good habits into your everyday code. Label your icons and buttons. Check focus order when adding new elements. Support dynamic text and larger font sizes. Make sure contrast is readable and visible on the screen, because every small improvement makes a real difference. Yeah. Just to wrap up, accessibility isn't a feature, and it's not a box that we tick at the end. This is how we write a good code. And with every small fix, we expand the pool of people who can use our product, and use what we build. And it's really important, because this is how we make the apps that everybody can use, and this is the real goal. I mean, technology that includes everyone. Yeah, thank you.